that's right. Now, you maybe never thought this would actually ever happen, but I am currently sat in the Turbo Cinquecento driving down the road on my way to what I hope is going to be a successful MOT. Now, hopefully you can hear me because I've now got my new wireless mic. So I'll apologise now if I'm talking a bit loud. I'll also apologise if every now and again I go a little bit quiet while I watch my air fuel gauge, which is very much on the rich side at the moment. Oh, cars come in. But yeah, as you would have seen in the video, I've sorted everything. I've got a new crank seal, new water pump, tightened everything up, sorted out the lights, sorted out the wiring, sorted out the washers, which actually in the end turned out to be, every time I shut the bonnet, the washers weren't working, but it was pinching the hose. So it was a nice simple thing. So fingers crossed, by the time we get to the end of the day, they're going to ring me up and tell me that if nothing else, I've passed everything that I'd failed last time, maybe minus the emissions, because the emissions is going to kill me, I think. Even now, I'm driving down here and probably, what's this, 2,500 revs. I'm running, I don't know, about 13 on the air fuel, so it's a little bit on the rich side, but I'm hoping it's just going to be enough to get me through the MOT on the emissions. But either way, I've got to say, it sounds and it's driving a lot better than it did the last time, and it's not smoking at the moment, which is good. And at least for now, there's no fuel, as far as I can tell, coming out the floor, which is also good. The only other thing to notice, and if anyone could tell me why they think this even vaguely happened, please do so. But I couldn't figure out why the fog light wasn't working, because the bulb was okay, the wiring looked all right, so I just chucked a spare cluster on there just to see. Fog light worked fine, and now my fuel pump sounds better than it ever has done. Bearing in mind there is no crossover in wiring at all between the two. But it used to make this kind of weird jittering noise when I used to prime it when it was running. But now it just runs sweet as a nut. It's nice and high-pitched sound. It's really weird. So yeah, stick it in the comments if you've got even the vaguest idea of why that would even do that. Right, let's try it in fifth. I've got to say, for what is, I mean, alright, I'm not even vaguely on boost, but for what is effectively the most basic of basic maps, my fueling's not a million miles off. It's actually like just very slightly on the nice side of rich, really. I mean, you wouldn't want to run it like this all the time, but I mean, for the purposes of driving down the road now, pretty good. Right, I'm going to drop this bad boy off, so I'm pretty much there, and then I'll report back in a minute about whether it all went alright, and a few more thoughts on what we're going to happen next if this actually, God forbid, passes. Well, I think that went alright. I mean, it drove okay. It only made the same weird noises it always frigging makes, so I don't know whether it's normal or not. The fuel pump always whines like mad. It's probably going to wear thin. I've got to be honest with you, that fuel pump, I'm probably going to have to swap it out. But, observations. I mean, I know I'm not going to fail on any of the stuff they failed me on before because it all works. I checked it all, so that's good. I've said, like I said in the car, like emissions. Oh man, I mean, I think it's going to be overfueling a little bit. I just think it's going to fail on that, but I'll take that. That means I can go to the mapping place, confident that I can go MOT it and map it, and I'll be fine. Concerns. When I got there, obviously because it had warmed up a lot better than me just sitting here idling it over, it was smoking a bit when I got there. And I thought, here we go again, it's going to be leaking oil somewhere. But I stared at it for ages. I was underneath it. There's a little bit of old oil, like a little bit of a black old oil, which obviously the oil in it's like brand new. So that must have come from somewhere else. So I gave that, wiped that off, but it just looks like it's burning it off the exhaust coating. So the actual coating on, I've wrapped it all in, like the high temp coating. So hopefully that's just where it was soaking into it before and it's just burning it off. And also, like, it's quite new, that stuff. I've never really had this car up to temp that many times. And the fiberglass wrap you do tends to actually smoke a bit when you first do it anyway. So we'll see. I've told them that that is smoking, and hopefully that's nothing. One thing to report as well, it got up to temperature, and my fans kicked in, which I didn't know whether they worked or not. So happy days. But I'm fully expecting to get a phone call back saying something's wrong. The only thing I will say though is I've got a couple of little concerns about my turbo. I appreciate the fueling's not right, but any other turbo car I've ever had, generally speaking, you only have to give them a little bit of a little bit of throttle, and you can kind of feel or hear the turbo sort of spinning up a little bit. The dump valve, usually you can see it flutter and just like let a little hiss out, but it's not doing that, even when I give it a bit of beans. And it did, but you can hear it, and it is making a bit of a whirring sound when it's spinning down. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, let's not start, foreshadowing, shall we say, things before we've actually done it. But fingers crossed. Let's see how we go on. Oh, by the way, hopefully you're really liking the mic. I'm enjoying being able to talk at a normal temperature, normal volume. And the best thing is, I can be all the way down here, and you can still hear me. So this is going to revolutionise everything, because I can literally now just carry on cracking on my day like normal, and I don't have to keep messing around with the sound so much when I'm editing. So hopefully you like that. Either way, as soon as they ring me back, I will come back to you with some answers or problems or anything in between with this car. Somebody did say to me, the reason the car hates me is because I've got no faith in it, because I don't, if I'm in truth. I even tell the car that it's causing me no end of grief and stress, and why does it not like me so much? And maybe because I'm nice to my other cars, they're nice to me, I don't know. So maybe this is a start. From today, I need to start being nicer to the turbo car, and hopefully it's going to start treating me with a little bit more respect. It failed, but you might wonder why I'm smiling, and in fact that it failed is because it passed on absolutely everything apart from emissions, which is, no shock there. So what I've agreed with them to do is I'm going to take the car back now. I'm going to turn the fueling right down on it. I mean, I said to you before, like, it was running rich anyway, so it's going to wind the fueling down till it's like, as close as I think I can get it safely. Then I've booked it back in again for tomorrow. They're going to hook the emissions machine back up to it, and I'm going to sit there with the laptop and just see if I can pull enough fuel out of it to pass the emissions, and obviously it still actually run. The good thing about it is once it passes the emissions, I know I've only got to drive it very shortly down the road. So even if it's on the lean side, I'm going to be driving so slowly. I haven't got very far to go really. It only takes me a little bit to get back. So yeah, so wish me luck. I'm going to try to do it, and then obviously once that's done, I can book it in for its mapping session, and they can deal with all the mapping after that. I just have to get it so it just gets under. So to put it in perspective though, it's meant to be something like 0.3% on the carbon, and it was 4 on fast idle, 4%, and it was 2% on idle. So idle's all right, that's getting there. So I just got to pull a bit out of that part of the table. And then fast idle, I think it's about 3,000 revs. So probably what I'll do is I'll probably pull some warm-up enrichment a little bit out of the bottom, and then pull some fueling out of that bottom part of the table, and then from about 2,000 revs up, I'll just pull fuel out of all of it, because I'm not getting over 3,000 anyway. And then just hope it's all right. I mean, I don't really have a lot of confidence I'm going to be able to do this, because it just depends. It's a bit finicky getting fuel in right. It's not like a carved car where you just turn the screw down just to get it to work for that brief moment. Either way, we're going to fire it up, get it home. We'll hook the laptop up, and we'll see how much fuel we can pull out of this thing before it stops running, basically. Oh. Hello. You're probably thinking to yourself, what are you doing there, Ben? Drilling things? I thought everything was going right. Well, it was. It was actually going pretty well, obviously, because I was just coming to fire the car up, turn the fueling down and take it back for its MOT retest. And guess what happened? One more job is what happened, because something else went wrong. So my fuel pump started making some pretty sketchy noises. Every time it primed, it was just starting to sound like it was struggling more and more. It was just kind of like a grindy, oh man, it was like every time it did it, and I was like, that obviously isn't right, something's wrong. So I went through the whole system, made sure I didn't have any blocked pipes or anything, pulled the assembly out, just checked that the actual hose pickup was okay. In the end, I spoke to the manufacturer of the pump, and they basically confirmed that me reducing the size of the feed for it from 12mm down to 8 was a dumb idea. I'll be honest with you, I kind of thought we might be pushing my luck a little bit, but I wasn't pushing the pump particularly far, so I thought, oh, do you know what, it'll be all right. They said it needed the 12mm feed basically to cool the pump, and if I didn't have that, it would probably overheat and die. So what I've decided to do is completely give up, not on the car, but on my external fuel pump ideas, because I don't want to go down the surge tank with a lift pump and stuff in it. It's not spec'd enough for that. You don't need a surge tank for a car with 150 horsepower. So what I've done is I've dug out the original house, another spare one I had, the actual rubber boot, there's usually like a rubber boot that the fuel pump, this is a stock one, will squeeze into that rubber boot and it sits in there. But for whatever reason, the last couple, and even the one on the silver one on the slug, it's starting to go soft. Like obviously modern fuel's got a lot more ethanol in it now. It just doesn't seem to be doing them any favours. So I'm not going to spend £30 on another one. I'm going to make my own one. So I've got some aluminium bar. I probably will make another one of these at some point. It hasn't come out exactly like I wanted. It's actually split just a tiny little bit. But what I've effectively done, that it's just made a little curved bracket like that. And I've got another one on the other side like this. The theory being that this will bolt onto there like that. And then this one, as I finish drilling the holes in it, will bolt onto the other side like that. So once the actual fuel pump is in the middle, I'm not going to be able to do this all with just one hand, one set of hands. That'll sit like that. That'll clamp round it. Bingo, it sits exactly in the middle of the pump. So it's aluminium, so it's never going to dissolve every time I leave my car standing for more than 5 minutes. It will hopefully be more than strong enough. I mean, that's 2 mil thick, and even with that tiny little split, it fell over then. Even with that tiny little split in it where I've had to like bend it to get it to go, it should be absolutely fine. So I'm just waiting on a new pump to turn up. So I've gone for a Fiat Coupe turbo pump, just a 16 valve one. It flows more than enough fuel than what I'm ever going to need. It will hopefully be quieter than that thing I had on there before. Now I did actually sort of panic buy a little bit. As soon as that pump started dying, I put an order in for another one, so the exact same external pump. While I worked out what was killing it, so I was ready to put it straight back in. So I've got that for another project in the future. So at some point or another, obviously, when I turbo something else stupid, at least I'll have an external pump that I could chuck in there. But we'll flog it at some point. So I'm gonna knock this on the head. I have had to extend the wiring because obviously I shortened all the wiring to go underneath the car. But I've got some of this stuff. You may wonder why I keep on tripping, but it's because I've got so many parts all over the floor at the moment. It's unbelievable. I've got this proper heavy duty wire anyway. It's really for like a sound system, but it's a good decent grade wire. So I'll use this just to extend the power wire back up to the back of the tank. Then I'll just obviously shorten the earth wire that's on there now, tidy it all up, and then fire it up. Now, whether I make it to my MOT retest is anyone's guess at the moment. I've kind of given up ever trying to get it to a date ever anymore, just because of everything going on. But I do have some very big dates coming up. The 1st and the 4th of July. I've got some very big things coming on. Obviously, you know the 4th of July is my track day in Wales. But I've just signed up for something very special on the 1st of July. So the pressure is even more on me because the track day, I could take the silver one. If it comes to it, I'll slap the track tyres on the silver one. I'll stick some decent brake pads on it a day before, or whenever I get a chance to do it, and I'll just bomb round in that. Because obviously you saw in my first ever video, I had an absolute riot in that car, despite the fact that it's slow as anything. But the 1st of July, it has to be the turbo one. I've got no choice. So it's either turn up or I don't turn up. Like, that's it, simple as that. So I need to get cracking. Like I said, I'm determined to do it properly. Like I said, I actually went out, bought some proper aluminium and stuff. Usually I just find some stuff lying around my garage and hope for the best. But I'm trying to learn from my mistakes. Trying to slow down, and I'm going to try and do some other things. I won't lie, I have already started looking at other cars that I would like to buy, as in potentially if I ever sell this turbo car, which is getting more and more likely as time goes on. I might just enjoy it for a little bit and then sell it. But I don't want to talk too soon. I haven't even driven it yet, really. You have a little bit of progress though. Don't really know why I'm showing you this now, but seeing there's not much else going on in this video at the moment. I got a set of these ATP, they're Italian, old school Italian wheels for free off my mate Chris. Cheers, Chris. You're a good boy. Otherwise referred to as my sugar daddy, because you see when he keeps on giving me stuff for my Fiat. But I thought if you're going to have a track wheel, I mean, I've got R888s to go on here. Let's not make it boring. So I've gone for this. Bright yellow. I mean, it's about as bright a yellow as I could ever basically get. I mean, I don't know if you can really see it on the camera, but I have to say that was about a 5-minute prep and about a 6-minute paint job. This stuff, because it's basically got a lacquer in it, honestly, it comes out so glossy. This plastic coat stuff, again, I don't know how long it's going to last, but it doesn't matter on a set of wheels like that. But considering the absolute lack of preparation I really did, I just Brillo padded it, gave it a clean down with some spirits and sprayed it. You do have to go really light with that stuff because it runs so easy. Otherwise, I'm going to knock those out, and hopefully red car, yellow wheels. It's about circa 1998, 2002 or whatever. It should look pretty sweet. So at least for the track. So I am trying to stay busy. There's also some other stuff that I'm working on as well, but I'm terrible for keep telling you things that I'm going to be doing, and then, you know, there's delays or whatever, so you're going to have to wait to find out about that. Other than that, I will crack on, button this up, and keep everything crossed.